right, hey everyone, it's Jaden Hiken. We are back with yet another interview. I think I'm going to call these more conversations than interviews because honestly, I love them so much. But nonetheless, I am going to be interviewing a nursing student by the name of Tiana. And by the way, just so we can get this out the way, her YouTube channel will be below in the description of this video. Now, before we actually get into the conversation that Tiana and I had, I just want to say to Jesus Christ, first and foremost, I have such a smile on my face because, Lord, it is breathtaking and honestly, I don't even want to say unbelievable because that's just the wrong word, but it's breathtaking to me, just the growth I've witnessed in the past 30 days on my channel, the messages I've gotten, emails I've received, relationships that I've built over the past 30 days, I can't even really put into words. And that's why I say breathtaking, because when I look at all that God has done for me over the last month of my channel, from my most recent video of how faith has transformed my trading success, it's all God. It is truly all God. Just for complete transparency, going into November, I only had about 1,200 subscribers maximum, and I was thankful for all 1,200 that I had. And I had about 2,000-ish watch hours, maybe 2,200 max. And for those that don't know, you need 4,000 watch hours in order to get monetized. Now, being completely honest, it's the month of November. I need about another 2,000 watch hours to get monetized, and another Lord knows how many subscribers at the time to get monetized as well. And I'm just thinking, okay, maybe this is a goal I just achieved next year, but won't he do it? No matter if it's in the 11th hour or the last day, like, God will always show up if you have the faith, and all you need is the faith of a mustard seed. And I feel like that has been the testimony of my life this year, is just no matter what I've gone through, no matter what has been in front of me, I haven't had the strongest faith in a lot of situations, and that is something I need and am working on getting better at. But I've always had the faith of a mustard seed because I've always known that God can do it. He will part that Red Sea. Whatever your Red Sea is in your life, he will part that for you if you just believe in him. Don't worry about how it's going to get done. Don't worry about, if he will, because he will, because these are his promises to us. And he delivered on his promise for my YouTube channel, because in January, I prayed on the first day of the new year. I was like, God, I want to be out there more, in everything of the public eye, so that way I can bring people back to you. And he not only answered my prayer, but he delivered it on his promise. So to all of the, as of total tonight, to all the 6,000 of you who have subscribed to my channel, I truly hope that God blesses you in every way imaginable. I pray that he gives you blessings that far surpass anything I've ever received in my life. I want nothing but the best for you, but the one thing I want for everyone here, to anyone who ever comes across my channel, strengthen your relationship with Jesus Christ, and please share the gospel with those around you. Share the gospel with those who are even tied into the faith. Just continue to share that love with the world, man, because not only does the world need it, but it's what we are called to do as Christians. So that is what I feel like my purpose is in my life, and I feel like anyone who's a Christian can relate to that in any way as well. So please, I really just, before we get started, I just want to say thank you to everyone. Thank you to the Lord. Thank you to all my subscribers, and just thank you, just God, please, just thank you, God, man. I wish I had a better, way to say and address this, but I'm just speaking from the heart right now. So I'm not gonna necessarily apologize for, maybe not having an essay written out, but just know in my heart, if you can feel what I feel, I really am eternally grateful. But nonetheless, to get into this interview, I really love this one, guys. I have a couple more interviews lined up that will be releasing to the channel as well, more than likely, but before the year is over. But as always, for those of you who watch until the end, thank you for watching every minute. But nonetheless, let's get into this interview, and also thank you, Tiana, for doing this. But let's get started. All right, guys. We're here with another. I'm gonna try to stop calling these interviews because I feel like they're more conversations than interviews, but a little bit of an interview. So, before this video gets started, I just want to say, thank you to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ before anything. Because man, uh, the last video I did, I can't thank you enough to everyone who is watching it, subbing, sharing, liking, all that stuff, man. I mean, as of today, on November 25th, the video is sitting at 55,000 views, and that's just all God, man. Like I really can't praise my Lord and Savior enough because just to like say a little bit about
You
that
said
video.
55?
55. Yeah, we just hit
I saw
55.
57. That's what I was saying. I just
57?
looked at it.
Is it
I
at
saw
57?
57.
Is it
I saw
57? I
57.
I
That's
thought
what
it
I
was
was saying.
I thought it
Don't
was
downplay
55.
yourself now.
Don't downplay myself indeed. Hold on. Is it 57? Hold on, let me
Could have
check.
sworn it was 57 on my end.
It says 55 right now. So maybe you saw a different number that definitely says 55 right now. Which, hey, I'm glad.
Okay.
Hey, I'll tell you what.
I swore I saw
If it was
57.
57, I need YouTube to run me my views. That's what I can tell you right now. But no, like I said, guys,
Yep.
I really am thankful for it. I really can't say enough about just how blessed I feel to even be in this position where there's so many of you who have poured out, your love, your support, not just to my channel, but just like your confession of our love to, Jesus Christ, claiming as your Lord and Savior. That means more than anything on the charts ever will. So, to all of you who have watched that video, I really words can't do enough justice, but just know in my heart, I really am whole grateful, like a whole nother level of grateful. But today, I think we have a video that'll be just as great. We're gonna be interviewing Tiana. Tiana, would you like to tell the audience maybe a little bit about yourself?
Yes, so my name is Tiana. My full name is Tatiana, but for trading in my trading community, I go by Tiana. So I was born in Memphis, raised in Mississippi, so I'm a Southern girl. I'm pretty sure you guys can tell by my accent, so bear with me. And so yeah, I graduated from Brandon High School, which is like 10, 15 minutes outside of Jackson, Mississippi. I graduated second in my class, salutatorian.
Ooh,
I was also the first Black female to graduate as salutatorian in my class, so two claps for that as well. And so after that, I got a full ride scholarship to Ole Miss for 4 years. And with that
oh,
scholarship, I was able to also travel and study abroad. And so I was actually getting paid to travel and study abroad and do research. And then so after that, I graduated after 4 years of undergrad, and then I am currently in nursing school. So I'm doing an accelerated nursing program. I started in August, and I will finish next August, and I will be a full-time practicing nurse. But in the midst of all of that, I got into trading during my undergrad in that entire story. So that's kind of when I started around my sophomore year of undergrad, kind of right after COVID, when most people got into it
yeah.
around that time.
So then I guess to maybe talk a little bit about your personal life before we get into the nitty-gritty of trading for sure. So did you always want to be a nurse or like how did that work out? Was this something like it was in the family or just
Oh,
like, how'd that play out for you?
so no, actually, I did not want to be a nurse. My initial intent was to go to medical school. Like I said before, I graduated second in my class. I had a full ride. I was going around doing research, this and that. I was basically prepping to be a med school student. And if anyone knows, coming from a black family, when you're that kid that's smart, when you're that kid that, I wouldn't say necessarily normal and is excelling in school, everyone expects you either to become an engineer, to
Yeah.
go into the medical field, become a doctor. It's like, or a lawyer. It's one of the three, nothing else. So I had my entire family, wanted me to go to medical school. And I thought that was what I wanted for myself. But in the midst of that, once you start shadowing a doctor, I realized that it wasn't as much one-on-one patient care. I'm a very people person. I love being around people. I love to help people. And the reason I wanted to go in the healthcare field in the first place is, have that one-on-one connection with people. And so
Mhm.
I slowly began to realize that being a doctor, and not saying that anything is wrong, with being a doctor at all. It's a great
Mm.
profession, it's a great field, but it wasn't that one-on-one that I really wanted with patients as much. And then I also realized I had to ask myself, am I doing this because the paycheck is greater? Or I'm
Mm.
doing this because I.
Mm.
And so when I started breaking that down seriously, and then I also was doing trading at the time, it kind of made me start rethinking things. Because at first I was in the mindset of like, I need to get a high paying job to get the lifestyle that I want.
Mm.
But once I discovered, okay, there are other avenues to make money. You don't have to just get this high paying job to get a lifestyle that you want, right?
Mm.
So that's when my mind kind of started to shift. and started to think like, okay, maybe I should look into other fields that may not require, with medical school, you're required to go 4 years medical school, and then after that, you have 4 years of residency or 4 to 8 years of residency, which is a lot. So you probably won't be done for about 10 or 12 years before you get your MD. With nursing school, that's a little bit different. So that was something else that I was kind of thinking about. It's like spending all that time, all that money. Now I'm kind of a little bit more aware of other avenues and things like that. So that's really where that shift to nursing kind of started. But it initially started, with me wanting that one-on-one patient ratio, like just being there for the patients and having more of that connection. But also the thought in the back of my head that like, hey, I don't have to go to medical school just to get a large check. I can pick something that I actually truly love doing and finding something else on the side that can also make me money.
It's beautiful that you actually talked about that because I feel like a lot of times now, I'm not proud of it, but I'm as a college dropout myself. I feel like that's something when I was in college that I genuinely struggled with was trying to figure out the balance of how am I supposed to pick a career path that I not only love, but that pays well. Because let's just be completely honest here. There are unfortunately certain paths that you might want to pursue in college that although you might not, although you may love it, it might not be the
Mhm.
best thing for your life, just unfortunately life from a financial sense. So I definitely love how, you were very, what, this might pay me more, but it's not where my heart is at. And that just goes to show, at least, to me, your character as a person and how you don't really like money isn't everything. And for some people in this world, money unfortunately is. But that's what I love too about trading is, for whoever happens to make it in this or wants to pursue this, it definitely can take the edge off, pursuing, maybe something you love to suffice. Now, granting, just putting out there this video, while yes, making money from trading is not guaranteed, this is a skill that what I can promise you, like I said, I don't know when you'll become profitable. Like I say, 1 year, 2 year, 5 years, I don't know. But this is bottom line a skill that once you do get the hang of, you do master yourself. Eventually, it leads to profits rolling in. And in trading, I'm a big believer, and it's just a fact of you will learn and earn as you go. But when you turn that corner from learning to earning and learning, who knows? But just to speak a little bit more now on now trading, I appreciate the breakdown of your life. So when it comes to trading, though, what got you into trading? Because you said during COVID is when you decided to take a jump in that.
Yes. So it was sophomore year. Um, just a little bit of background. I kind of always had the mindset of I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I'm going to make a lot of money when I get older.
Amen.
So it's just like I'm already in college. Like a lot of people, if you know the area of Jackson, Mississippi, there are not a lot of people around in that area that are making a lot of money at all. And so when I got to college, you have people from all walks of life coming in. You have kids that are coming from all walks of life, not kids, but young adults.
Yeah.
And they're been exposed to different things. So I started seeing kids that were entrepreneurs already, like they're already making $100,000 a year. And I'm like, why are you here at school? But just being exposed to that thing is just like, okay, I need to figure out some kind of way that I can start making money. So I was already like my radars was already off. Okay, like I need to be Googling stuff, trying to like search up, like maybe I'm interested in investing. I don't know, but I was trying to figure out something. And so then one day my friend hit me up. He was like, hey, I'm a part of this group. We're learning how to trade, this and that. I think it'd be really good for you. You're really smart. You catch on very quick. Um, if you're down, I can get you into it. And so when I heard that, I was just like, sign me up. Like he was just like, it's like $150 fee. I was like, I was either gonna spend this on hair or
Hey,
this. So I was
talk
just
about it. Talk,
like,
what I'm saying?
it's like
Be
if I'm
real.
gonna spend this $150 on something, I'm gonna do it to invest into my future. That's the mindset that I had. So I was like, okay, cool. Paid the money, whatever, got into it. And so that's how I got into trading, which is, how a lot of people got into trading at that point, which was the MLMs and things of that sort. But as most people, I quickly realized that that was, for me personally, my experience. I'm not speaking to anyone else's experience. I quickly realized that that's not what it was. My intent was to come in there. I was like, okay, they're about to teach me how to invest. I've always seen people talk about the stock market and things like that. I was like, okay, I'm gonna learn. And then I was like kind of figuring out, we maybe had one or two classes on actual trading, and the rest of the classes were on recruitment. So I was like, okay, I'm not going to pay attention to all this recruiting stuff. I just want to learn how to trade. And so then I would call, that friend that called me, and he would put me on to the person that was above him. And I was just asking like genuine trading questions because that's what I was here for. And they couldn't give me the answer. Or they were always trying to refer me to someone else in the group that might have had the answer. And it was just a whole lot of going back and forth. And so I quickly realized, okay, this is not going to help me get to where I'm trying to go. This is not going to help me and my trading goals. So I was just like, you know what? I need to find something else. I'm sure there's a lot of different information out here that can help me learn to trade. And so at that point I was online, I was Googling, looking at different influencers at this point, trying to find a different course that could actually teach me what I needed to know. And so I came across a young Black woman. She had just graduated college. Her name is Lavish Ruby. She doesn't have a course anymore, but she is still a very successful entrepreneur at this point. But at that point in her life, she had a Forex course. And so I was like, okay, this is someone that looks like me, teaching, even if I don't get too much out of it, she's giving me something better than what I was getting out of the MLM. So once I found her, I was like, okay, cool. I went and I told them, like, hey, I'm finna go, try my own little trading thing, try to actually learn. And when I tell you, it's like leaving the MLM, it's like leaving a cult a little bit. They were mad. They were like, you're being lazy, you just don't want to do it, this and that and the third. And I was just like, whoa, I'm just trying to learn, you feel
All of
me?
you
But at
MLM
the end
people are
of
gonna pay one day. That's all I gotta say. Carry
the
on.
day, look, I had one of them reach out to me. He was like, man, you was right. I was like, I told you, but always go with your heart. Discernment is real. So at that point, I got out of that. And that's basically where my trading journey truly started, was with that first course that I took a lead. And then after that, that course really taught me the basics. She had a strategy, but at that point, I felt like I was missing something. I needed something a little bit more. Like I was watching other people and other influencers online and the way that they were understanding the market. I wanted to understand the market like that. Like coming from being a straight A student, always exceeding in school, is like you couldn't tell me that I wasn't going to excel on these charts. I was a
Amen.
little bit big-headed at first and naive because trading is definitely harder than what it seems to any person, no matter what background you come from. But at that point in time, I was just had the mindset of like, I'm gonna learn this no matter what it takes. Like if they can do it, I can do it. So at that point, I decided to start looking for other courses to invest in that were like more in depth. And so that's when I came across Jessica Lane. I'm not sure if you know her or not, but she is very huge in her area of the trading community. Her husband is also a part of EYL, if you know who they are. So once I came across her page, she was talking about trading, but she also was talking about her faith in trading, and that's what really encouraged me to purchase her course, because her course is 3 grand.
Hmm.
As a college student,
3 grand for a course?
3 grand.
Whew.
But it was like she had testimonials. Like she used to do one-on-ones and groups, and those were like 6 grand. But from her testimonials and things of that sort, like I even reached out to one of her students, because it's like I'm not gonna buy this if I haven't talked to someone
Yeah,
myself.
for sure.
And they were just like, this course is legit. Like I definitely think you should give it a try. And so at that point in my life, when I tell you I started praying and I was like, God, I
Yeah.
just feel like this is the course for me. If I should do this, let me know. Cause this 3 grand, not for, that's a lot of
That's a
money
lot of
for
money.
a college kid coming from Jackson. Like I had to scrape pennies and dimes and nickels, to get that together. But it was just something in me. I just felt like, again, that mindset, like if they could do it, I can do it. And I'm already, wanting to become successful in something that's going to make me a lot of money. I was just like, you know what? I feel like this is for me. She's talking about faith and things of that sort. She feels like somebody that I can personally trust. And I feel like she actually cares about her students. She's not one of those teachers that post the limbos and things of that sort. Yes, she has them, but she's not too well known or too popular in the community because that's not her focus. Her focus was on making her students better at trading. And so that's when I was like, okay, I found someone who is truly trying to educate and not trying to promote, promote, promote. So at that point, that's when I bought her course, and it just went from there. I think, what was that, 2021? I bought her course and I started it. It was like the end of 2021 I bought her course. And so I've been doing that for 3 years. And to where we are today with trading.
So then I have a couple questions for you. You brought up a great point about how trading is a lot harder than what other people realize. So in your respective opinion, from some as a woman who's pursuing both, which would you say is more difficult for you? Get becoming a nurse or trading? Because
Ooh,
while they are very different, and I can understand it, but I am curious because I consider like doctors, lawyers, engineers, those are some of the most challenging fields. I mean, I know you're not a doctor per se, but you're in
yeah.
the medical field, so I know it's a very difficult path to pursue. And as someone as you said, salutatorian, top of the class, straight A's, which would you say is the harder one between the two? I'm just curious.
To all my med students, don't yell at me. But I'm going to say trading is harder because most people that go into med school or nursing or just any medical field in general, generally they are good at school. They're already
Ah,
good at
there you
school.
go.
They're already, at that point, you're just learning information and regurgitating it. Now, yes, with nursing and med school, it's a little bit harder because now you have to think about real world situations. My bad, that country accent is coming out.
You're good.
Um, but you have to think about real situations. They're giving you patient scenarios. What do you do if this patient's BP is bottoming out and they're on this drug? Like you actually have to think a little bit more. But at the same time, if you've done your due diligence and you studied and you did this and that, and you went over the material, you're bound to come out with a good grade. Hey, trading, you could do your due diligence.
Talk
You could
about it.
study all the
Talk about
material
it.
in the
Talk about it.
world. You can go have the mentors from here to Wazoo. You could have had 5 mentors. Oh, you can have all the information that you need, but it does not matter when it comes to those charts.
Hmm.
This up here, this psychology,
Tell
you
him.
can even when you
Tell him, Tiana.
understand the charts, like on a test, you understand the question, so you're able to pick the right answer,
Hmm.
right? In trading, you may understand those charts and you may be able to pick the right answer, but this right here will mess you up every time.
Every time.
You might have picked the right trade, but because it's in drawdown for too long, you don't close the trade.
Oh, you talking
10
my
minutes
language.
later,
Yes, sir.
10 minutes later, it busts in the right direction. And you just like,
Hmm.
bro. So it's like it's like I said, trading is definitely much harder. I know some mid students. If you haven't done trading, then you just can't speak on it.
You
If you
can't speak
haven't,
on it.
and I'm
I
not
agree.
talking about you traded for a month or you traded for 2 months and won a little bit of money. I'm talking about you real deal went through the struggle of developing yourself for years, back testing, back testing, back testing. That's a different type of that's a different type of learning. It's a different type of skill. So I'm gonna have to be on your side with that as someone, like you said, that is very up there academically. For me, I thought it was gonna be a breeze. I was big headed because I'm like, if I can do this in school
Hmm.
and they do this, and they, most traders, they be like, oh, I dropped out of college. Which no offense to them at all.
Yeah.
They're just
Shout out to all
so
my
in my
guys, you know what I'm
head,
saying? But yeah.
yeah, in
Yeah.
my head, I'm like, okay, they can,
Yeah.
do this. There's no way I can't do this.
Hmm.
Humble.
Humble.
Very
Yeah,
humble.
humble. And
Humbled is
the
the
reason
best
I want to
word.
ask that is because now I am never an advocate. First of all, y'all watching this video, go get your degree from school. Don't play with me. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, go to school, get your degree. I don't care. But one thing I do find interesting is, because I have a lot of friends, that are in very prestigious fields. I have a friend who's actually he's on track to. I'm going to mess up the words here, but he's in a practice for becoming a lawyer or already with a firm or something like that. But like,
Okay.
he's very, very good. He went to Stanford for law. So I mean, hey, he's up
Oh,
there.
okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
he
yeah,
he
yeah.
up
No,
there.
no, he's definitely up there.
Stanford is the top of the
You
top.
know what I'm saying?
The
Top.
smartest of the smartest.
I mean, shoot, I mean, might as well be Ivy League at that point. But just hearing him, I tried to get him into trading, and he kind of said himself that the pressure of the unknown is too much for him to deal with it. And the reason why he finds trading harder than law, which once again, his words, not mine, talking about someone that has quite literally taken the bar exam, if I'm not mistaken, I know he's studying for it. I'm almost positive he has taken though, because he's with a firm anyways. But regardless of the fact, it's the unknown that he can't give over because it's just like you said, like everything in law eventually ties back to law. And there's a known at the end of it. Yes, I mean, you might have to jump through hoops, go through jury. You're gonna get to unknown. Trading, you can have everything in front of you and still know nothing. And
It's a game of
yeah,
possibilities. It's like your goal as a trader and something that I had to realize because I was just like him. People that come out of programs and things like that. And I'm sorry for interrupting you,
no, no, go
but
for it, go for it.
people that come out of programs and things like that, you're expecting to always, there's always an answer. There's
Mhm.
always a right answer. There's always even if you get it wrong, the test after or the review is going to show you why that was the correct answer. Trading, there is no correct answer. And that was something that was hard for me to grasp because I had to realize this is a game of probabilities. Your purpose as a trader is not to be right all the time. And for some people, that's hard to break.
Mhm.
Like even for today, I had a loss today, ate me up, but I have, things in my trading plan that make me, take that in psychologically. So I'm not revenge trading or anything like that. But it's like if you can't stomach that,
Mhm.
that's a little bit different. So going back to what I was saying is it's a game of probabilities. Your goal as a trader should be to create an edge in the market to where no matter how not how many losses, you don't want too many, but
Mhm.
overall at the end, you're gonna end off profitable. It's not about winning every single trade. It's about creating an edge that helps you navigate this unknown market, this unknown territory that's gonna help you. And if you can't grasp that concept, it's not easy, like you said, for everybody to
It's
do.
not.
Like you have to be okay with being wrong. What they say, the best losers win.
Always win. Hey,
Gotta,
talk to him, taking charge.
you
The best
gotta
loser
become a
always wins.
loser when you come in trading.
You
You
gotta be the
gotta be a
best loser
loser,
ever.
best loser ever. Until you can, and for me, I'm a competitive person. I grew up playing ball, sports, track, bowling. Coming to some in the markets with quote unquote, I feel like, they were trying to play me, like test my gangster a little bit, tell me
That's
that I'm
okay.
wrong.
Tell
What the markets test your gangster sometimes. So
every
like for
time.
them to tell me that I was wrong or I lost,
Mm-mm.
it's a lot to deal with.
Especially when too you're only forgetting one important thing when it comes to your money.
Oh,
It's not the trade being wrong that hurts. It's not anything wrong it's not the markets itself that really hurts. It's the fact that money is involved. Because see
it's money.
what you realize about people, I feel like a lot of times is if you take money out of the equation, people can analyze all day, make decisions effortlessly. But now all of a
Mm,
sudden, put your $500 in the account, put your $1,000. You lose 2 grand in 10 minutes. Let me know how you feel. Do you really have the mental strength it takes to come back the next trade, the next day, and keep doing this over and over and over again? It's the money that makes it pump. But that's why I always tell people, I always teach them, Crystal Academy that, it's so freaking important, guys, to just detach yourself from the dollar because it's just a dollar. You can't have an attachment at all. Like if you have an idol in your heart of the dollar, it's gonna show in your trading. And I feel like that's something that even though I've only been trading for about 2 years, that is something I still feel like took 2 years too long to disconnect from is the dollar. Because once you disconnect from that and you focus solely on the analysis and having a quite literal, I'm going to live and die by my rules, risk management, and entries and exits, that's when your trading starts to
yeah,
excel. Because now you don't care about drawdown because, like I tell my students all the time, if it ain't hit your stop loss, what you scared for? It's just psychological loss. If and
yeah.
that's something even I live by. If I don't care if I'm in drawdown for 2 hours, if my stop loss does not get hit, I'm still alive. Because what I tell people all the
Mm,
time too is, and this goes to any trader out there, before you get in a trade, you need to analyze and be okay with risking whatever you're comfortable losing. Because
facts.
because this is the thing. If you are sweating, stressing in a position, you are risking far too much. Because if you lose, it shouldn't matter. Why? Because if your risk management is appropriate and you are not risking more than you can afford to lose, dog, I don't care if it's $1,000. If you can afford to lose that $1,000, if you see that you're down 800, you should be like, okay. Because why? You should have been okay with losing that thousand. So that's where I feel like a lot of people get it wrong as traders is, you have to really almost like Bruce Lee has this one statement. It's called like, just like the art of dying, and just like, how like in like dying to yourself, but just like most importantly of just like before you like you really go into battle, just embrace the worst outcome.
Yeah.
The worst outcome in trading is you lose this trade. Not that you blow your account. It's that you'll just simply lose the trade. So I feel like that's something that, as a trader, I really try to embody, every day is that no matter what happens, I don't care what happens, I will have the strictest and most rigid risk management because unfortunately, no, not unfortunately, if you don't master risk management as a trader, it's going to be very hard for you to become profitable.
It is. And that was something that I had to get over big time with the hump of learning to manage risk, being okay with losing certain amount of money, being okay with seeing that amount of money in account.
Gone.
Like I said before, I had spent 3 grand on that course, so it's like I ain't got too much left to lose, you know. So it's like, but once I started getting to the point where I could separate the money from the trading, that's really when it started to excel. And I truly think that being in a field, being able to work a little bit right now, or having that quote unquote 9 to 5 is what people will call it,
Yeah.
provides me that peace. I'm not sweating about losing money because I have something else, that's going to pay my bills. And so I think that's another aspect of it as well. um, so yeah, I
Agreed.
definitely agree with you on that part for sure. That was something that I had to get over too, with seeing the numbers and being able to stomach what I'm risking.
And that's something that I want to speak on and pivot into next. It's kind of like a two-part question, but to wrap it up, at least on this topic, um, you know, once again, to everyone watches this video, just really, really understand. And I say this, I will say this all the time: master your risk management. Your risk management, and like Tiana just said, risk management and psychology. You master that before you get rich. I'm just gonna call it like if you want to make money in this, you want to be able to make $100 a day, $500 a day. I don't care if you want to make $20,000 a day. Risk management and psychology. Those are two non-negotiable things that you need to have mastered because to master that is to master oneself. And if you master yourself, you'll master the charts. It's all a conglomerate. Now, speaking on everything else that I want to get into, when you say like how you're working a job and trading, tell me what that's like for you. And do you see trading as something that you want to do forever, or is this just something that just in the meantime until you get to maybe that part in your career where you're getting paid a lot more, you can just make a lot more, like maybe like nursing just pays for everything. What is your heart like mind state at when it comes to trading and your profession?
Okay. Well, to first start as the trading forever, I will trade as long as my fingers can push a button at
Amen.
this point
That's
in my
that's
life.
that's one
If
accurate.
what's the quote? If you give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. If you teach a man a fish, he'll eat for days. I've been taught how to fish. So me and my family, we're gonna eat as long as I can still fish.
Amen. Amen.
So
Milk of
that's
land and honey over here, ladies and gentlemen.
yes, if trading is kind of like riding a bike. Once you have the skill, nobody can take that away from you. Period,
At
point blank.
all.
All you need is a computer, some internet, not even a computer, an iPad, just something with a screen and some internet, and you're good. Good to go. But as far as my career and that goes into it, first off, I feel like there's a large stigma around entrepreneurship and working a quote unquote 9 to 5.
Hmm.
And I understand that because obviously you won't become wealthy by constantly trading your time for money.
Yes.
But as we said earlier, one of the greatest benefits of being a trader, that your entrepreneurial side hustle or business is trading, is that trading is very flexible.
Amen.
Markets are open from Sunday to Friday, depending on what you trade. Everybody trades something different. So the times and stuff that markets close may be a little differently. But in most fields or whatever you're trading, markets are open from Sunday to Friday. They're open 24 hours. You could be working from 9 to 5 and get off and make more than what you made at your 9 to 5 within a span of 2 hours. 2 hours. My
And that,
bad. The
no,
screen
yeah.
had frozen a
Oh,
little
oh yeah,
bit.
yeah, 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 yeah. Go for it.
But you can make that much money within 2 hours. You can't get that anywhere else. There aren't a lot of other side businesses and other things that you can start where you can make that amount of money in a short amount of time. So I tell people, yes, I understand when certain entrepreneurs say you can't have a 9 to 5 and be in business. That's for certain businesses, businesses that you need to put in that time to grow, that you need to, be there for a couple of hours in order to see it through. And I'm not saying trading doesn't mean you're not going to be there for a couple of hours or you don't have to put that time in. That's not what I'm saying. But once you get this skill, you can do that and have a job. It's so easy to manage. And so, for example, just going into my field of work, most nurses, they work 3 shifts a week. That's the minimum.
Yeah,
One shift,
really dive into this because I'm curious too. I really am
yeah, so
curious.
one shift is 12 hours.
Whew,
A
better than
nurse
me.
has to work at least 3 days a week, minimum. So let's just say, and for me, this is what I plan on doing or what I'm working right now as a student. I work from Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Mm,
I trade Monday to Wednesday.
mm,
I've made $1,000 already just trading Monday to Wednesday.
mhm.
Now I'm going into work Thursday to Friday to make the same amount or maybe even less than what I just made trading. So now I not only do I have more capital that I can put in my trading account, I also have, the money that I just made. So for me
Word.
personally, with nursing, it's like the perfect field to be able to do that because it's so flexible. I
Mhm.
have a friend right now that's working, they graduated last year, so they're already in their field working as a full-time nurse. They do what they call a 6 on, 6 off. So they work 6 days and then they're off the next 6 days.
Mhm.
For most fields, that's not, possible. Most people they work your typical 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, you're off on the weekend. But as a nurse, you can be so flexible with your schedule that you could work those 6 days on, and then the next week you have the entire week off. So for me as a trader, that's golden. Because this whole week I'm doing what I love, I'm doing my passion, and this next week I'm fully focused on trading.
That's beautiful.
So like it's very easy to do both. And as I stated earlier, for me, that gives me a peace of mind because my trading, you never know how much money you're gonna make in trading. It's not a set
Ever,
number.
ever.
If
Yep.
you are coming with a set number that you're gonna make this month, you need to rethink trading because you're not going about it the right way.
Tell them.
Your mind is somewhere else that it doesn't need to be.
Tell them.
When I start my trading month, I don't know if it's a good month, it's a good month, and I'm praising the Lord, hallelujah. I'm glad.
We don't know to the
But
end of it.
I know but sometimes I might reach that net down and might not get no fish back. You never know. But it's like having that piece that I have this career on the side that's
Mhm.
very flexible. It has made I feel like it's made my trading so much better because I'm not worried about, well, dang, I don't see any trades. Dang, I need to make something happen in the markets. And again, for people, you can't force the market to do nothing.
Ever.
It's not on your time. It's not going to give you your setup that you're looking for when you want it. They may not be on time, but it's gonna be there eventually. But it may not be, when that next light bill is due. You may not have that setup when the rent is due. You can't control that. So, like I said, having that peace, knowing that no matter what, these bills are going to be paid, and now I'm making extra money on top of that, that's great. And then for me personally, I'm 22 years old and I'm a hustler.
Tell
So
them.
as far as um just trading by itself, like I said, I'd probably be done trading at the beginning of the week from Monday to Wednesday. Now I got all this free time on my hand. I need to be doing something else to make money. I'm not a millionaire yet,
Tell them.
and I want to get there, right?
Yeah.
So that 9 to 5 could be used to get there. A lot of people, I told my friend this the other day, nursing is not the destination, but it can be a vehicle to get you where you're going.
Hmm.
And that goes with any career, anything that you're in. It doesn't have to be your destination, but use it as a vehicle to get to where you're going.
Hmm.
And that's what's important. So again, for me, I will be trading as long as I can trade
Hmm.
because like you have that skill, at that point, you're just scaling. You're scaling up, getting larger and larger accounts and making more and more money. That's all you're doing at that point. As far as nursing, I do want to be a nurse. I don't know for how long. And I know that once I get to a certain point in my training where I'm making a lot of money, I want to start using that money to open, I wouldn't say other businesses, but to do other things in the nursing field. Like you have nurses out here that are starting their own IV hydration business. You have nurses out here that are starting their own at-home care businesses and things of that sort. And those things are kind of hard to start if you don't have the capital. But for me, I have this skill on the side that's basically like I'm my own bank at this point
You are.
in layman terms. I don't
Yeah.
have to depend on someone else to give me this capital to start this nursing adventure or to start this side hustle. So in the future, I would like to do more things like that in the community because I'm interested in people's health. If you don't have health, your wealth doesn't even matter. Your
Wealth
health
does
comes
not matter at all.
it doesn't matter at all. And so I want to be able to bridge the two together, use the capital that I'm making from trading, but also put it into my passion, funnel it into my passion, whatever that may be. Who knows? I may start, like I said, some kind of business where I'm going from house to house, taking care of people, in hospice care, or just starting something like that. It
Yeah.
could be anything, but I have that option to do that and to
Yep.
funnel into my passion. And so that's what I plan on using trading for as a vehicle to get me to my next destination of whatever that is in life to grow me.
No, amen to that. That's a beautiful. I love how your heart is wired to just like, even though like, yeah, trading is cool, but I still want to like my yeah, I can tell that your purpose in life, like God has like he wants you to help people. And I love how no matter how much money, whatever is presented from trading, you still keep that proper heart posture of like, yeah, the money's cool, but I know God has me here to help people. Like he has on my heart to be there, this and the third. And that's just, I feel like that's something that, like I often get questioned and asked because I do this full time. Like this is my job. I get
Yeah.
asked, you know, when is it the best time? When should I leave my job? Never. Never. You should never leave your job. You got a job, don't you dare leave that. Don't, because it's just like you said, there is nothing is guaranteed in trading ever. I mean, I could start name dropping some of the more popular day traders that we all know in this space. And
Yeah.
they'll tell you the exact same thing that nothing we do is guaranteed. Okay. So to go all in on trading being your only source of income is the biggest risk that you could take in this life.
That's another
Eh,
thing, the only source of income. I
yeah, the
think a
only
lot
is
of
it
people
yeah.
don't realize all of these day traders or influencers that you see that are only trading, they have a whole handful of other businesses on the side that you don't even see
Mm-hmm.
on camera. So it's like, yes, on camera, they're, day trading 24/7, or that's all they do. But off camera, they have a handful of businesses that also pay their bills.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something I think you should think about. Don't just think that they're just sitting there doing nothing the rest of the week. No, they not. Like I said earlier, I'm a hustler, they a hustler. I promise you they got something else going on.
Mm-hmm. And
So
then
until you
and
find
yeah,
what
go
your
on.
other hustle is, don't give up that job like you were saying.
And then to even add on more to that, for the traders who don't have a business, understand their mind is the sharpest thing that they have, and they have years in this game. Payouts on payouts on payouts. I mean, we're talking, and even though, once again, although nothing is guaranteed, I'm a big believer nothing in life is ever going to be 100% guaranteed. I don't care what it is, but they at least have, you know, data to back up. Like, okay, you know what? Yeah, I can do this full time. I have made, four figures, five figures for months on end now. I do practice this. I do have withdrawals. Like they have the criteria and the skill set to justify, maybe doing this full time. But I would never recommend anyone trade full time. I remember when I first decided to do this, jump off that bridge, and say, you know what, I'm gonna make this my sole thing. That first month was the scariest month of my life. Just being complete. I was like, man, them losses hit a little bit different when you know you don't got a job that you can go clock into. Trust me,
That's
because
what I was
a
saying.
it's a different feeling when you lose $500 and oh wait, I don't have a job. I can't offset this loss. I literally lost $500 today. I am down 500. So, you think you tough, okay? But like it's just like you said. Yeah, you want to trade full time until you over leverage and can't pay your light bill. You want to trade full time until you over leverage and now you're about to get evicted. You want to
What
trade
they
full
say,
time
stop, stop the T, because that.
guys, I'm telling y'all, man, this now. I don't say that to scare anyone, but one thing I am always going to do on my channel is I'm going to be 100% transparent with you guys on everything about the reality of what this game, brings to the table. So I'm never going to shortcut it as if it's all sunshine and rainbows. Now, what I will tell you though is on the other side of once again you mastering yourself, you being obedient to the Lord, which then leads you to being obedient on the charts. I think this is the best thing that you could ever pursue. And I will stand on that hill because you said something earlier. And to me, this is the true definition of freedom. My definition of freedom at this stage in my life, it's not that I can, make money trading. No, 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 no. It's the fact of as long as I have a functioning brain, working eyes,
Mhm.
and a Wi-Fi connection, I can be anywhere in the world. I could be at my grandma's house. I could be in my room. I could be at the airport. I could be in the middle of Saudi Arabia, Dubai. It does not matter. Give me a Wi-Fi connection and I know what to do. Whether
Nobody can
I
take that away from
whether
you.
I win or lose, like you said, I'm not in control of that. No one is in control whether or not they win or lose today. The only thing you can do is execute and have faith. That's it. That is the principle. Like that is trading at its core. All you can do is execute and have faith. But that is
100.
freedom to me. I say all the time, to people in Chris Academy, if God ever told me in a dream that, Jane, yeah, the most he'll ever make from trading is 70 to $80,000, I'm the happiest man on earth. Because that means after every loss, after every win, after everything at the end of the year, I made a salary. But I'm only working what 2 to 3 hours a day on the charts. So I am abundantly rich in time. Like me, for example, I trade from 9:30 to 11:30, 11:45 at the latest, every day, 5 days a week. I got all the time in the world after noon. From
You
noon
do it.
to whenever I can spend my time however I so please. Time is the one
Yeah.
thing you can't get back. That is worth more than anything on this earth because you got billionaires that have no time. My question to you is, are they really rich? And to me, what good does it serve me if I have all this money, but I can't take time to read my Bible? I can't take time to pray. I can't take time to spend time with the Lord. There is nothing better than being rich in your relationship with Jesus, and most importantly, being able to spend actual intimate time with the Lord. So, regardless of whatever trading does for me, I don't care how much it brings me, how much God stewards and trusts me with, however much money I may make. I will always prioritize my relationship with Jesus over everything else because it's my relationship with Jesus that got me here to begin with. Because without him, I promise you, I'm a crash out by nature. Lord knows it took some time for him to work on me. I was a work in progress.
I understand that.
I know there were some days I was praying to God, like, God, please, stop me from over leveraging. I know that there were some days he's like, son, you stop yourself. Like, you're the one making the choice. And you know what? God, you right. You
Scratching
know,
my head, I'd be like, I know he's shaking his head at
yeah,
me.
I just know he's like, oh, my,
The
my
little
child.
walk of shame
Oh,
is
my
just
child.
look. Sometimes I have to tell him, look, mind your business.
Mind your
We're gonna
business.
talk, we're gonna talk tomorrow. I know I was wrong,
I know I was wrong.
because I feel like he just be staring, like convicting me.
I
That
like it.
conviction.
Yeah.
Look, mind your business for today. We're gonna talk about it tomorrow, Lord.
And so that's where I really want to get into. So like I guess like my question for you is, how did you stumble across my YouTube channel, YouTube video? Like how did that really come about? Because what I want to ask you is, how has faith in your relationship with Jesus like really impacted not only like you in your life most importantly, but like, in also correlation like how it helps you like in trading.
Okay. So first, this let me unpack that question. It's a lot
Yeah.
in there
Yeah, go
to
for it.
answer. But let's start with how I found your channel.
Yeah.
So for me personally, when you look up trading, you could just search up trading. Anything, any field, futures, forex, whatever you want to, stocks. The first thing that pops up is 9 times out of 10, it's gonna be a man. And they're probably gonna be standing beside a Lambo. They're probably gonna be on a beach somewhere. They're probably gonna be showing you this $500 million mansion they just rented out.
Yeah.
They're selling some kind of dream to you. And not saying that that dream isn't obtainable. It very
Mm-hmm.
much is with trading.
Mm-hmm.
Trading is limitless. The ceilings, like there is no ceiling. You can go as high to get all of that. But for me, I feel like I had been, I don't want to say convicted of, but I was at a point in my life where I was no longer, again, looking at it for the money. And it's like, okay, God, I feel like you're calling me to this skill, but I know you're not giving it to me for the Lambos and the houses and this.
Mm.
You're not giving me this for that.
Mm.
And so once I came upon that realization, it's like, okay, I want to find more influencers that are like me. I want to find more influencers that are going through their day to day, whether or not they're trading full time or, are like you, trading, full time at home or
Mm.
trading, having another job or just whatever that looks like. I want it to look realistic and I want them also to love God and talk
Mm.
about God as much as I love God and talk about Him.
Mhm.
And so in my head, I'm like, there's not too much of that out here. So I
There's not.
literally went on YouTube because I just started my YouTube in May. And
Mhm.
so I try to add a little bit at the end, just talking about my faith personally, and things of that sort. And I'm probably gonna put out more videos that are just faith-based.
Huh?
But I was like, okay, I wonder is anybody else doing this as far as trading went. So I literally typed in faith-based trading content. And lo and behold, I feel like it was God given because now we're on, doing this interview together. Yours was the first one that popped up, the last one that got a lot of views.
Mhm.
And so that's when I watched it, and that's when I got very, very intrigued. And I commented thinking that I really didn't think you were gonna respond because there was a
Mm.
few comments on there, that hadn't got responded to or whatever, but not, anything like that. You're probably just busy. So I was just like, let me just leave a comment. Let me just throw it out there because I really love this content. And I feel like if you like something, for all you people out here, YouTube watchers, if you like someone's page, comment on it.
Thank you.
Tell them that you like their
Thank you,
comment.
please.
And tell them that you like what they're doing and that you see what they're doing. Encourage people because that's the only way that you're going to get more content like that. So in my head, okay, you're the first person that I've seen doing something like this. Let me make sure I comment so I can get some more content like this. And so that's when I commented and I was like, hey, you should do this more.
Mhm.
Have maybe even do interviews with more traders that are like you, that are incorporating that faith into what they're doing. And so that's kind of how that came about, as how far as I found your page. Now, as far as my faith in trading, just a little bit of background. I always grew up in the church. I'm
Yeah,
from
talk about that.
the South,
Hmm.
deep South,
Bible Belt.
Bible Belt. So it's like, it's not a Sunday. You're not coming to church talking about, I was an usher. I was on a praise dance team. We was going to vacation, Bible school, whether we liked it or not. I don't care if your friends was going skating this summer. You're going to vacation Bible
I
school.
love that.
It don't, it's no matter what it does. And my mom, she believes in the Lord. She knows the Lord. I wouldn't say that she's just very deep into the Bible. But she always made us go to church no matter what, because that was just something you did in the South. No matter
Mhm.
what it is, everybody was going to church. I don't care what you believe in, you're going to church. And so I had always been exposed to God, exposed to Christ and things of that sort when I was younger. But when I got to college, that's really when I started to develop my own relationship. Because it's one thing to know God, but it's another thing to ask if God knows you.
Mm.
And so that was very imperative for me. And it's like when you get to college, life get real. You
Very.
no longer have your parents here watching you. You're able to dibble and dabble in whatever you want, basically. And so like it's very, very easy to get off course with those things. And so for me, I was going through a period of my life where it's like I was trying to figure out one, what I wanted to do. I realized that I had could possibly have this skill that could either be a good or bad thing if it went right. And I
Mhm.
also was trying to figure out, if I wanted to go to medical school or not. And like I said earlier, that was a big decision to make. I had mentors that were on me. I had people that basically invested into my med school application. Anybody that goes through the med school process know how rigorous it is. You need people reviewing those applications. You need people on your side encouraging you. And so like for me, to just all of a sudden tell people I no longer wanted to go to med school and I was making that switch, that was really when my faith started to get deep because it was at that point where I had two paths in front of me, or what they say, two pills in front of you.
Mhm.
One path going to med school, it was going to be a path. I don't want to say that was easy, but it was going to be one that didn't require me to have as much faith. Like I said
Mm.
earlier, I had great grades in school. School is something that can come easy to you, like your friend in law. He was probably smart, coming out of college and stuff. So it's like once you get to that point, it's just like routine. You're going to get through law school. You're going to get through medical school. At that point, it's routine. You're going to get through it. You're going to become that doctor. It's like no thought about it. But for me to take that leap of faith and choose trading and nursing, that was the scariest thing for me. Because not only am I letting, in my head, I'm thinking I'm letting my family down. I'm letting all these people that are trying to support me in this dream of going to medical school that I've had all my life down. And so that's really when my faith started becoming strong because I no longer knew what was going to happen. All I had was a feeling that I felt like God pulled me towards in his word. That was it. And so that's really where it started because it's like now I'm at the point I chose the path where I have to depend on him. Now there is no I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if trading is going to work out or not. And keep in mind, like I said, nursing isn't a career that's going to give me, it's a great field, but it's not going to give me the life that I was looking for. So if trading didn't work out, I was going to have to find out something else. So it was like I was stepping off a ledge. But the reason that I did it was because at that point, I was like, okay, God, when they say God call collect and he call you and you answer, there are no refunds. So once you answer that call and you say yes, you stepped off that ledge and you gone. So that was really where it started for me when I really just got deep into trading. And from there, I feel like God truly is the reason that I am a profitable trader today. Now, yes, I had a course. Yes, I have a great mentor. Shout out to her. I'm always shout out to her because she taught me everything I knew. She is great. Period, point blank. That's my girl. But I feel like the pivotal points in my trading career was when he was molding me and teaching me to be the person that I needed to become spiritually, not just on the charts, but in life as well. For example, let's talk about patience. Patience is something you gotta have as a trader, and I had none, none at all. Didn't have any type of patience. And so one day I was praying, like, when you have those bad losses, like we said, and you start getting on your knees and start praying, like,
Man, them prayers
Lord,
hit different when you lose.
what? Them prayers be different. I was like, Lord, I thought you said this was for me. Like, what's going on? What's not connecting? And so he brought me to the book of Genesis. I was reading, and so I was reading on the part with the Israelites. And so,
Mm.
the Israelites, once he was leading them to the promised land, right?
Oh, here we
They
go. We
were
about to
so
cook.
busy. Look, I gotta give it to you.
Give it to me
They
how
were
it's gonna
so
tell him.
busy focusing on, well, back there in Israel, people are eating. They got food to eat. They not out here in the wilderness. They not out here cold and wondering what their next move gonna be. It's safe back there. We should go back. They was so busy focusing on what they didn't have, what everybody else had, them not knowing that it was supposed to take them 11 days to get to the promised land, and it took them 40 years. All because they were impatient.
Mm.
And when I tell you that verse right there, reading
A
that ate me
word.
up so bad,
A
not you
word.
just read me.
A
So
word.
for me to connect that to my life, I was focusing so much on, again, all of these influencers that had all the Lambos, all of these people, that were having these $20,000 payouts, $50,000 payouts. You even had people that had just started trading prop firms getting $100,000, and they started trading prop firms 2 months ago. So seeing all of this in my head, it's like, Lord, that's where I'm trying to be. So I'm sitting here making trades, doing this, trying to force my journey because I'm looking at everything else. And he told me, he was like, I need you to be patient in this season. I need you to get the skills that you need spiritually and on these charts. Don't worry about the end goal. I'm going to get you to the promised land. I'm going to get you to becoming a profitable trader, but I need you to be patient. And so that was just one example of something that he taught me that was very, very, very detrimental to my trading. It changed my trading a lot. I was no longer taking trades out of impulsiveness. I was no longer taking trades out of fear of missing out. I was no longer taking trades to show my friends like, oh, hey, I made $500 on this trades. I no longer cared about that because my patience. And then just to keep going, I'm gonna stop
No,
talking
hey,
after
hey,
this.
no,
But
no, 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 keep going. Hey, you preaching. That's Holy Spirit cooking in you. I ain't gonna stop you. Trust me.
yeah. So another point that he taught me was, like we said earlier, what are you doing this for? This was at the point, where you get to that point in trading where you're making money, but you're losing money. Like you're not losing enough money, like you're break even. I was a break even trader at
Mhm.
this point in my
It's the
life.
worst place to
I'm
be.
like, what? I'm like, God, well, I got the right setups. Like I'm getting it. You can't tell me I can't read these charts. Why I'm
You can't tell me how to.
trading? What you can't tell me I'm not reading these charts. Why am I a break-even trader? And at that moment, he always don't like, I tell people, if you got a question with God, ask him. I talk to God how I'm talking to you. Like, if I have a question, I'm gonna ask you because that's the only way you build that relationship. You got to let him know your true feelings. And at that point, I was frustrated. I was like, I'm doing everything you told me to do. I'm studying, I'm putting in the work, I'm back testing. I'm not going out on the weekends with my friends, drinking, doing all of this. I'm in the Bible and I'm in these charts.
Mm.
So what am I doing wrong?
Now
And
I
I
need.
asked him
Yep.
plain as day, just like that. And he was like, your heart posture.
Mm.
Why are you trading? Oh, am I like, what you, everybody trading for money. What you mean? I'm trading to make money. He said, that's your problem. You're trading because you're looking at all these other people with all these nice things and things of that sort. And you thinking about what you finna get. Cause I'm not gonna lie. I went a little $200, $300 here. I'm already looking up the next car I'm finna get. I'm looking up the next wig I'm finna buy. I'm looking up I ain't even made $1,000 yet, but in my head, I'm already on Instagram liking, like, oh, this is what my life finna be like. Oh, this is where I'm finna be like. Oh, I can't wait to post this picture and let
So
everybody
real.
know.
So
And
real.
all the people that said trading wasn't gonna work, like, oh, I can't wait to be posted up in front of that Benz, just letting everybody know it worked. He said your heart is not in the right place. And he was like, I'm not giving you this gift so that you can buy all these things, so that you can post all these pictures and everybody look at you. That's not why I gave you this gift. Because I believe that any kind of skill you have from God is a gift. And
Hmm.
don't take that for granted. He was like, I'm giving you this gift, one, so you can help my people,
Oh,
educate my people,
yes.
give
Yep.
back to my people.
Mm.
This is not for you by any means. Now, blessings may come with it. Yes, blessings may come with it. Don't get that confused. But I'm giving this to you so that you can help my people. And you need to understand that. And until you get that in your head, you're not going to be successful in trading. And so that kind of correlates back to where we said people were more so focused on the dollar. So at that point, once he taught me that spiritually, it translated into the charts. I'm no longer focused on or caring about if I make $500, $200, $300 this week. I'm cool with breaking even. I don't care. I'm worried about, can I be a good trader?
Mm.
Every week, am I following my trading plan? If I make $500, $1,000 that week, cool. That's great. That's a blessing. Something I should be thankful for, but it's not something that's mandatory. And so those are just like two examples of how he has just like transformed my trading just by growing me spiritually and understanding those things, being in the Bible, reading those things. I don't think people understand how much that stuff correlates to real world things. Growing
Hmm.
spiritually, how much that correlates to the charts. And in my head, when people used to be like, my mentor says it all the time, and that's kind of where I got it from. She was like, God taught me how to trade. God helped me with my trading. And before I had, that relationship with him, I'm like, what you mean God helped her with trading? Was he telling you to click the button? That was before, I was
You get
spiritually
that. Yeah.
mature. I
You,
didn't
you
know.
get that discernment and understanding. Yeah.
Yeah, but now I'm like, this is what she meant.
Hmm.
This is what she meant.
It's by through your
So,
obedience to the Lord and
yes,
really growing those fruits because it's one thing I've realized, anyone can say that they have the right fruits of the spirit in words, but you are your actions. And then
that
it's through your actions that people can taste your fruit because they see your actions, which is ultimately how they get a taste for who you are as a person because it resembles the Lord. But now I agree with you on that.
for sure. But that's really how my faith grew deeper, which is kind of crazy because it all correlates with trading. And not saying that my faith only grew because of trading, but
Mm.
that's what spearheaded it. That's what I was dependent on. So now I'm at the point in life where it's like I need him for everything besides just trading. Life situations. Just making sure I am presenting myself in certain environments, presenting myself in certain rooms, making sure that I'm resembling him. Because now that I truly understand my purpose here is not for just money, my purpose here to help people, that doesn't just have to be limited to trading.
Yeah.
That's why I said earlier, I want to take the capital that I'm making from trading and put it into my career as a nurse, opening these different businesses to help people. So it's like, again, the posture of your heart and just learning all those things from him, he's showing you that, like, again, your purpose here is not just for money. Your purpose here, I'm giving you this so that you can funnel it into other things that are actually going to be beneficial to the world, beneficial to others.
No, yeah, and like I said, I feel like you've done a beautiful job at, elaborating on just that because I feel like that's something that so many people um just ultimately end up getting wrong, especially, like when, you have, as I definitely have found over the past month, a lot of Christian traders, they find it hard to balance and embody what it means to represent Christ on these charts because it's just like you said, I am blessing you with this to help my people, not because of anything else, not because of what you want, but because I'm trusting you to steward this and guide others and help others gracefully as I am gracefully helping you. And like you said, whatever you make extra, that's a blessing. But do not worship
Yeah,
the blessing over the blesser because then I'm gonna have to
yes,
take it from you. And that's something that I definitely have come to because yeah, I mean, no, just for complete honesty on myself, it's very easy to get caught up in the fast money that trading does come with. Just being completely honest with y'all, like trading can be very fast money. It's very easy to, hop on these charts. If I mean, just once again being honest with y'all, if you got the capital for it and you know what you're doing, sky's the limit. This is a limitless business. So
yes,
where does your heart lie in it? And for instance, one can say, "Oh, the money doesn't mean anything to me." This and the third. God knows you, even if you're lying to yourself. You can fool anyone, but you, but you ain't gonna fool the Lord. You are not gonna fool the Lord. He knows where your heart is at all times. He knows where your mind is at all times. So you can say that, but he knows the truth. And I feel like that's something that I eventually had to learn as a trader. Like at first, it started out by me saying, like, okay, just being honest. It started by me saying, like, you know what, God, yeah, I'm not trading for the money. Okay, Jaden, but you're still and just but like I said, through wringing out your heart and cleansing you and sifting you through different, trading just circumstances, eventually, like I said, now the money doesn't matter. But it starts with just wanting that. It says all the time how the flesh is weak, but the spirit must be willing. I had a willing spirit to change and really not want to do this for the money. Yes, complete transparency. Like everyone, you get into trading for the money, but that is no longer the root foundation of who I am
yeah,
or what I want anymore. Because once again, if your spirit is willing to change, just trust in the Lord that he'll get you there. But as long as you're remaining obedient, following his word, and doing all the disciplinary things and just everything that you must do on the day to day, he will get you there to that promised land that the Israelites took forever to get to. But and I'm
for
I'm
sure.
so glad that you brought that up because man, once again, on myself, it took me forever. I felt like to get my first prop firm payout, man. Oh my gosh, I'll never forget it. It was with Top Step. It was last year around like June, right? Like June, July. I have to find it, but yeah, it was like I think like $7,000, and I was like, oh my lord, $7,000! I ain't never made this much money this quick. And then, it just became like a rush, and I was like, man, I need more, I need more, I need more. But then I'm like, okay, hold on, let me settle down. So because it was when I first got that payout. And by the way, I pray for everyone over this video, man. I can't wait to see y'all get your first prop firm payout. I don't care if it's $100. I don't care if it's $500. There is nothing like getting your first prop firm payout because you know why? It's like you know what? You did it. You did it. You
It
did,
is.
and that's
Tell
the
me about
most beautiful feeling ever, man. But that aside, it was after that first payout when I realized, okay, I need to actually like start cleaning my heart out. Didn't really know what I was doing at the time, but I knew that my relationship with money didn't feel right in my spirit. And then that's when I just started, getting more in my word, praying a lot more every day, just asking my God, take this love of money away from me because I want to love you more than anything. So, and hey, if that means you take trading away from me completely, then so be it because I want to love you more than anything on this earth. And I thank the Lord that He has not taken this from me, but I also know how important it is to always keep my heart posture in check of like no matter what blessing God gives me, understand I'm doing this for a bigger purpose more than myself. Like I said, I feel like my purpose in life is to like not even just trading, it's to use this platform, this YouTube channel, the God-given intelligence He's blessed me with to help make disciples. I use my education, my channel, my everything to help make disciples and bring people back to the Lord. That's what I feel like my calling and purpose in life is. And I'm going to live that out to the fullest because God gave me a new life, genuinely speaking, from spiritually to literally what I live in, like reality. So to the
Yeah.
day I die, I will forever pursue this because I feel like it's beyond disrespectful not to. Because
Yeah.
I tell people all the time, to be able to do what we can do where we can make even say $200 in 5 minutes. You got people that go to school for 10 years and make $200 in a day. You know what I'm saying? Like, how could you not be thankful for this? And
And just being thankful.
yeah. So
I had a
I feel
problem
like
with
that's what.
that. Like
Mhm.
last week, I cut the straight trade short because I had to go into a test. I don't like my anxiety having a trade running while I'm taking a test.
I can
I'm not
never.
focused on the test. I'm focused on my money. So I cut the trade short, made $247. Got out of class, trade plummeted to the TP. Like when I tell you if I would have stayed in there for 10 more minutes, if the test had started 30 minutes later, would have made three times, would have made 600 on the trade.
Ooh.
When I tell you I was salty, and then I had to come back. And it's like, girl, somebody has to go to work for 13 plus hours, maybe more, to
To make
make that
that.
type of money. You just made it before walking into class to take a test while in nursing school, like literally placed the trade probably like 5 a.m. Test is at 8. You just made $200 in 3 hours. Come on, like it's not the thousand, it's not the 2,000, it's not the 3,000 you see on Instagram, but $200 in 3 hours?
Mm.
People not making that type of money. Humble yourself. And so these are conversations I have in my head all the time. I'm actually finna get a tattoo, be humble, because I
Yeah.
like date minors and stuff like that. But it's like humble yourself. And it also says humble yourself before the Lord as well.
Amen.
That's another form of it. Being grateful for what he gives you. And then I love what you were saying, when you were talking about how you were just talking to him, telling him what you were going through, and then also just being honest. I think a
Mhm.
lot of people are afraid to be honest with him.
Confession. If we're just gonna call a spade,
Yes.
confession for real.
Confessions, just being honest with him about your feelings, because I promise you, he knows.
He
What
knows.
we lying, I'm sorry, not lying. My grandmother would kill me. Telling a story in the South, you can't say that. But
Hmm.
telling a story. For he knows your thoughts, he knows your deepest dreams, he knows your fears, he knows every nook, cranny, and crevice. He knew you before you were formed in the womb.
Mm.
So why not share and be honest about what you're feeling? If you're mad and you're angry and you're upset with him because you don't understand, tell him that. If you're doing something, or honestly, you know that you're doing something for trading, tell him that. Because the first step to fixing something is acknowledgement. And that's what he wants from you, because he's trying, like, he's going to show you what he sees, or I feel like he's going to show you yourself and what you're doing wrong before he teaches you how to fix it.
Hmm.
So it's like that honesty, being honest with him about your situation, being honest, or like, hey, I struggle with this and I know that I do. Teach me how to get away from this. And like you were saying, if that requires me to give something up so that I can learn, that willingness to be open to learn, that takes you a whole lot of a very, very long way. And so I feel like that's another important thing to have on your faith journey, wherever you're at in your journey. Be honest. If you
Hmm.
can't do anything else, even if you know, like, everybody's journey isn't perfect. I think
No,
one of the things
at
that I
all.
very dislike about influencers, or just like the Christian community, is that the expectation that you're gonna be perfect. You're not gonna be perfect.
At all.
100%. I'm not perfect. You're not perfect.
No
We're
one
the
is.
only person that is perfect on this earth is Jesus and God Himself. That's it.
Hmm.
So it's like being able to be honest about your downfalls and coming to him and talking about it, not hiding from it, that helps you tremendously. And then transferring it to the charts, because we got to tie it back to trading.
Amen.
Being honest with yourself. If you're taking trades, 10 or 4 trades, or however many you done took that month, and you're looking back at, I feel like I'm gonna say this: if you trade, you need to document everything. If I ask you what 2 trades you took last week or 2 weeks before, you need to be able to tell me exactly what it was. I don't know if that's something that you teach your students,
Oh,
but
we do all
that's
the
something
time.
that,
We do all the time. Just
okay,
journaling
yeah.
is everything. Yeah.
Journaling is everything, because that's how you're gonna fix the problem. So if you're looking at your journal and you're like, hey, I get too greedy, or hey, I'm always losing trades on Wednesdays, or hey, I'm always losing the second trade that I take after winning the first trade because I'm getting greedy. Be honest with yourself. be honest with what you're seeing on those charts. Because if you're honest with yourself, like for me personally, some people related back to that situation, they continue to trade after they won for that day. Me,
Insane.
I'm honest with myself. I'm greedy. I win one trade. I'm feeling myself. I love to win. Like we said earlier, I'm competitive. So when I
Super.
got that first trade, I'm feeling high. What they say when you're shooting, I play ball. So I was like, when
Oh
you
yeah.
feeling high with the threes,
Mm-hmm.
oh, you're gonna keep jacking them. You could be at the half court. If I'm high, I'm high. I'm jacking them, getting you the
Green.
ball. What?
Yeah.
Yes. And so for me, I had to be honest with myself. You big headed.
Mm-hmm.
You're cocky. When
Mm.
you win one, feel like you finna take them like the market owe you money.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a rule in my trading, which is where after I win one for the day, I'm not allowed to touch the chart again.
Amen.
Now,
I'm the
some people,
same
I'm not
way.
saying everyone has to do that, but me being honest with myself allowed me to get over that.
I'm gonna cut you off there. I'm telling you, if you win your first trade of the day, close the computer. Now I'm actually gonna step no, because let's actually talk about it real quick, guys. I say this all the time in Crystal Academy. I say this all the time to all the students in Crystal. I say this all the time to all my mentees. You are never guaranteed to win, bro. You're never guaranteed to win. And as a trader, if you win that first trade of the day, that is God blessing you. Go enjoy your life, man. Because here's the thing as a
That
trader,
right.
I forgot who said it, but all traders, as long as we pursue this profession, we will always leave more money on the table than we will ever make. Ever. You are always going to be cut short. So you're always going to, because we have TP levels, we have ideas, things, whatever the case is, but you are always going to leave more money on the table than you will ever really ever bring in. But that's not the key to trading. The key in trading is not to make everything and be this greedy person. Take your piece of the pie and go on about your day. For instance,
That
just
part.
just give you a brief example. If you thought price was gonna go up to level 110 and it goes up there, great. And you cut at 110, let's say it goes up to 130. Who cares? Yes, you left money on the
Now you
table.
pissed.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, you mad? Like, oh, I could have made more. No, you followed your plan. You wanted to get out here, so you got out there. Now, what's the teachable moment in this? If you want to now hold longer, how can you improve? But once again, that's where you
Mm,
tie it back to the Lord in suffering
yeah.
through the, okay, Lord, you know what? I'm just going to trust you in this trade. Because here's the thing, losing hurts, but being a prophet can hurt sometimes just as much because you don't know how long that trade gonna go for. So it's a constant battle of just
Yeah.
always everything. So it's like like God, like I really want to get better at holding my trades. Lord, I pray that in Jesus' my name that you reveal to me the necessary skill set, emotional discipline, whatever it takes for me, so that way I can not only enter these trades but execute them with confidence. So I can really make sure I'm maximizing every trade I take, not for myself, but to do what I feel like you've called me to do. And that's what I feel like it just always boils down to. There's once again, though,
Yeah.
still, you will always leave more money on the table than what you will ever really make. Because think about it, market's going to go from top to bottom, bottom to top all the time, right? In the span of a year.
Yeah.
You're not, but you as a trader are not going to catch the absolute top to the absolute bottom, so on and so forth. Just take your pie and go on about your day, man. That, like, I feel like that's just something that I really have embodied as a trader. I like to be a sniper, meaning I got one in the chamber. I got to make that shot count. Whether I win or lose is irrelevant. Did I follow my plan? Did I take everything into account? And most importantly, did I trust God throughout the whole thing? As long as I feel like I
Yeah.
did that, I consider it a win. Every day I tell people, you got to take a mental win, spiritual win, physical win. You do that enough, eventually you will change your life. That's just ultimately how it goes. But no, yeah, I definitely hear you on that. Like I said, you were dropping some gems. God, like I said, like, for all y'all watching this video, man, I really hope that y'all watch this. Listen, if the last video got 60,000, I'm gonna need this to get like 100,000. I'm sorry, I'm putting it out there. I'm challenging y'all. No, I'm playing. No, I'm being serious. But I do have a couple,
Yeah,
just like,
just a little bit.
you know what I'm saying. So I do have another question for you though. So before like we do end this interview though, I do want to like, so if you had to give any advice now to anyone who wants to take up trading, be it as a woman or in general, what advice would you give them? And then most importantly, what advice would you give someone who is still maybe struggling with, how to incorporate faith into their daily life and their relationship with Jesus? Like how, like what are some like words of advice that you feel like you want to give them?
Okay, I'm gonna give you three. I'm gonna
Go
give you
for it.
one for your average trader. I'm gonna give you one for a trader that may look like me as a Black woman,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'm gonna give you one for.
Okay, go.
So let's start off with that piece of advice for the average trader. I have it taped right here on my computer. It says offense scores the points, defense wins the games.
Ooh,
When
we're
I tell
cooking.
you, I
We're
feel like
cooking.
God whispered that to me one day. And again, like I said, I played ball. I played basketball. In the South, we call it ball. We don't say basketball, we say
Tell them.
ball.
Tell them.
Yeah, I ran track, I bowled, all of that. And while playing basketball, the one thing our coach would constantly instill with us, you could be up on a run all day long, but if you don't play defense,
Mm-hmm.
you wasted everything. We still don't lost the game. I don't care how many points you don't score. Even if you're scoring individually 20 points yourself, we will still lose if you don't play defense, you don't guard. And so going into trading, yes, you can have a profitable trading plan. You can have the best setups ever. But if you don't know how to protect your account, if you don't know when to stop, if you don't know or have certain parameters in place that tell you, like I said, when to stop, when to hold back, when to cut the trade. A lot of people, only thing they think about is, oh, I need my TP1 and TP2. Okay, what you gonna happen in a certain situation that this doesn't go right? Can you answer that for me? Because yes, like I said, you may win a couple points, but you also having something in your trading plan that says, hey, this doesn't have enough momentum. I need to cut this off right here. Or it's reached
Talking my
or
language.
constantly, like even though this TP1 is up here, but price is clearly in your face testing this zone and wicking out. And you know it's clearly dead as day in your face. Close the trade. That's having defense. That's protecting your account. So yes, you just won those little bit of points, but you didn't give it back to the market because you had defense.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's a gem right there. Like I said,
It definitely
offense
is
scores the
a
point,
diamond. A diamond, actually.
defense wins the games. And once I learned that, trading went up. Profitability went up. I feel like that was the main thing that got me from that point where you're at. If you're just on that hump of break even, break even, break even, try thinking about that and incorporating that and see if that helps.
For sure.
So my next piece of advice would be to the traders out there who look like me, whether you're a Black woman or even just a woman in general. There is not or not either way, a lot of people that look like us, and that can be very, very discouraging. When you see a lot of these interviews and things like that, they're mostly men. And sometimes you can have men maybe downplaying your skills or something like that. For example, I have a YouTube channel and I had a man comment that was just basically saying, "Oh, your strategy's trash" and things of that sort. But it's like, part of me is like, are you saying that because it's trash? And I know it ain't. Look, I don't care what you say. You can say my stuff trash all day long. I'm making money. I don't care what you say.
You know,
But it's the same time, it's like, are you saying it or not paying as much attention because I'm a woman
mm,
as well? So I would just encourage people, if you're thinking about going into trading, but you're afraid because you don't see too many people like you, somebody got to make a way. It was
amen.
always, there's always a room, there's always an environment that doesn't have something in it and that needs it. So, to all my traders out there that are women, that are Black women, please get into this field because I teach little girls, I also tutor high school girls. And so the fact that, like, I'm not teaching them how to trade, but the fact that I'm talking about the importance of investing and they're seeing someone that looks like them that say, "Hey, I should learn about investing a little bit more," that inspires them. They're asking me questions about what I'm doing, even though they don't completely understand it. So you never know. Like we talked about earlier, God has a purpose for you. And sometimes that purpose may be a little bit hard. It may be a purpose where you may be the only one in the room that looks like you. Don't let it stop you. If that's your purpose and that's your calling, I promise you it's for a reason. So, again, my advice would be don't let it discourage you. Keep going, keep pushing, keep reaching high ceilings. Eventually, it's going to be as much women as it is in trading, if not men. And I love my women, so I got to say, we may be a little bit better. We may do it a little bit better. I'm
Here we
just gonna
go.
play
I'm
devil's
like,
advocate. Look, I gotta play devil's
hey,
advocate.
hey, go for it. Go for it.
I gotta encourage the women. I
Go
got
for
to.
it. I love it.
definitely just go for it. Don't let that discourage you and find other people that look like you. My mentor, she looks like me. She was a woman of faith. Um, she was a woman that wasn't just focused on the money. She's not promoting this and promoting that. She genuinely wanted to help people. She has a school that she's building in Africa right now. So it's like find someone that has the qualities that and they don't need, I'm not saying they have to look like you, but if you need encouragement, there, I promise you, there's someone out there that's doing it. And if there's not, like I said before, you be the one to do it. All right. And so the next piece of advice, the last one would be how to incorporate trading or faith into your trading, right?
Yeah, and just more faith in just like your daily life. I mean, whether it's your career like nursing, on your day to
Okay.
day, just in prayer, trade, like just across the board, you know.
I would say remember one, get into your Bible.
Mm.
I highly advocate that. I know people say it all the time, but like you won't understand him truly until you read it for yourself. I was at a point in life like, yeah, I can watch all of these sermons online. I can watch all the reels, all the videos, but you don't truly get to understand him for who he is unless you are in his word, unless you are reading the things that he's trying to teach you. So whatever you do, incorporate that into your life and don't do it as just a check to check off, like a box to check off the list. Because that was my problem at first. I used to read one or two pages or a verse a day, just be like, all right, I'll read my verse for today. I'm done. It's like, no, take that time to sit with him. It wasn't until I actually started sitting with him, sitting in the Bible, reading more than one or two verses, and just conversating with him about the things that I was reading that it really started to transform. And then as far as transferring it into your career, that's why I say reading the Bible is so important because when I walk into a patient's room, I don't care what you look like. We may have
Mm.
different opinions. We may have different views. I'm treating you as you're another one of God's children.
Amen.
In this situation, he wants me to help you and make you better.
Amen.
I don't care what you got going on. Once you step into these walls, you're a God's child and you are my patient. And my sole purpose is to make sure that I can do the best that I can to get you as healthy as possible so that you can return to your life. And so, you do have certain situations where the color of my skin, I'm in the South, so every patient may not be as inviting. You have some patients that may not want you as the nurse because of the way that you look. That has happened to me twice before. But I don't let that affect the way I treat that person
Right on.
because I could be the one thing that changes their thoughts or changes the trajectory. And that actually happened in that situation. The patient didn't really like me. They very much stated they didn't like me because of the color of my skin. And at the end of it, they were like, you were one of the best student nurses or nurses. Like you were so sweet. And it was just like, regardless of how they were treating me, I had the thought in my head. Now, I'm not gonna lie, being a black woman, sometimes people test your gangster. So you be like, it's very easy to just be like, you know what? I ain't got to deal with you. I'm gonna go down here to this other room with somebody that appreciates me. But
Mhm.
having the thought and the mindset of like, no matter what, this is still God's child. My purpose in here and my calling is here to treat everyone with love as He would do. And I learned that from reading my Bible, understanding who He is, understanding His love. So now I'm incorporating that love and the teachings that He's taught me into my everyday life. I'm bringing that into the hospitals. I'm bringing that into the room, regardless of the faith that my patient has. That's what I'm thinking in my head to keep me going and how I want to treat my patients. So that would be my biggest advice is just reading the Bible. And I know it's very vague, but I don't think it gets any deeper than that. Reading that and start incorporating it into your everyday life, that will really help you. It's one thing to read something and have knowledge, but wisdom is incorporating it. Wisdom is implementing what you know.
Yep.
And so those would be my three pieces of advice. I hope it helps someone. Probably rambling just a little bit, but
No, not
that's
at all. I mean, like I said, I mean the reason why I asked too is just because everyone has their own viewpoint system of like way to get into it. And I think first of all, I think what you said is absolutely perfect and beautiful because it just goes to show that no matter like what differences, what like you got to like really be Christ-like. And sometimes and one of the main things of being Christ-like is loving your enemy or someone that may not agree with you or stands against you. So you have to have the heart posture of Jesus in you to say, you know what, Lord? Because it's just like you said, it's easy, right? I can only imagine it's easy, right, to be a great nurse, to someone that, isn't judging you based on your appearance or anything else? But will you be the same nurse for someone who doesn't like you? That's being
That's
Christ-like. So,
yes.
so no, I agree with you 100% on
Because if it wasn't for him, the way I would have walked out that room and said, you
that.
know what?
Fine, buddy.
You good. I ain't want to be in here no way. I'm
No,
trying
I
to go on
know.
break. But like you said, just having that mindset of like, I'm here to bless people, regardless of how they may treat me. I'm gonna be good, but I may be the person that changes their mind. And that's what God may have me here for.
Yeah, no, and I agree with that 100%. Tiana, I forgot to ask, by the way, at the beginning, what is like your system of like trading? Like, are you more like, how would you categorize it, like strategy wise, like how you trade? Is it based off like, because like you said, like certain like zones and stuff. So are you more like supply and demand, breaking retest? Like, how would you say that? Like, how would you like categorize that?
So I trade based off structure.
Market
Anyone that
structure?
watches my
Okay.
market structure, that's the first thing I talk about.
Okay.
Breaking it. For me personally, if I understand structure, I can see structure, I formulate the trades that I'm taking based off of that. So because I trade based off structure, I have kind of like what I call my trading arsenal of certain
Yeah.
setups I like to see with structure. For example, I like to see a break of 30-minute structure, and with that break of 30-minute structure, I like to see a break and retest of a trend line or a break in a
Ooh.
double tap of a zone or something of that sort. So it's based off of structure, but then we get into like the nitty gritty and the specifics of what I like to see that structure doing before I take the trade. So that's it in like a narrow,
No, yeah, for sure.
wide-eyed view. But if we get like down into it, there are other things that I incorporate into it. But the three things that I like to say I focus on with structure is I say it in all of my videos. What is the market doing?
Yep.
Where do you get in?
Yep.
And where do you get out?
Yep.
If you can figure out those three things and restructure, you good.
That's all it comes down to, man. That's all it comes down to.
Yeah.
Well, I gotta say, nah, I really love this, conversation. I'm not calling these interviews no more. I feel like these just, we're just two traders talking. I feel
I
like
feel like it was just me and you.
yeah, like I said, at this point, I'm not really going to call these, interviews. I just look at these as conversations. But now, Tiana, like I said, God bless you. He blessed me with an absolutely amazing woman of God, trader, nurse, and everything more. So I really do pray the best for you going forward and all that you do. You know what I'm saying? So and I appreciate the Lord for bringing you to my channel. And I genuinely mean that. And to anyone who watches this video, I really hope that you take a lot from what she had to say of what it means to be not only just a woman of faith, most importantly, but just to like really be out here, hustling, guiding, and just trying to be like the best version of herself and all that she does to once again just honor the Lord. But like I said, I really,
And thank you
really,
so much for
yeah. No, yeah, for sure. I mean, pleasure is mine. Pleasure is 100% mine. I do got to say though, when it comes down to it, if you ever want to play some basketball, I might cross it. No, I'm playing with you. I'm horrible at basketball. I'm horrible. I'm horrible.
I was gonna say, 'cause I'm breaking ankles still. I may be a little rusty, but on the days we have off, me and a couple of my nursing friends, we be playing basketball, either that or pickleball. So
Nah,
I like to be active. We
nah.
take it seriously there.
Hey, listen. I tell people all the time. Anyone that's ever played pickup ball with me, I'm the living embodiment of Patrick Beverly. If you know, you know. If you don't know, you don't know. But I am Patrick Beverly on the court. I ain't no Steph. I ain't no KD. I'm Pat Bev. Dennis Rodman. Take that however you know. But nah. Once again, guys, I really hope that you enjoy this interview. God bless you to all who watch it, and as always, thank you for liking, subscribing, supporting the channel. So this seems to be a common topic, common sense, but as always, what an interview, right? Really, really, really am just amazed with the type of individual that Tiana is. And if there's one thing I can honestly say about being a trader who by the grace of God is successful in what I do, you can always tell when someone is primed to be catapulted in all the ways that they wish to be as a trader, because you hear it in what they say, and most importantly, you see it in what they do. And truthfully, I thank God for bringing Tiana across my path, because I have the utmost respect for anyone in the medical field, and to all of you who are, I just want to say thank you with all my heart for all the work that you do, all the shifts that y'all work, the school you have to go through, everything, you name it. Lord knows that my life has been saved by, doctors, nurses, more times than I can even count. So I definitely would not be here for sure if not for y'all. So I don't want anyone to ever that's a nurse, a doctor, anyone in the medical field, EMT, whatever, to ever go unnoticed or feel like they're not appreciated. So that's what I have to say from my behalf on my end. But it's definitely great hearing from a future nurse and nursing student, Tiana, hearing her talk about, what it's like being a nursing student and trying to balance trading. And just most importantly, how no matter how smart you might be in school, how even the top students will always struggle in this. So please understand that to any of you who are contemplating taking on trading or just wanting to learn this skill, that it does not matter how smart you are. Some of the best traders I've happened to meet, now this is not to like be that person, but I do feel like some of the best traders I know in my life, maybe they weren't the best in school, college dropouts like myself. I don't say that proudly, whatever the case is, but it just goes to show that you don't need a degree to pursue this, at least to the level in which we're doing it now. If you actually have passions on working on Wall Street, a little bit of a different story. But nonetheless, for those of us who, this is like what we do in the comfort of our home or wherever you're at in the world, you don't need to be the smartest person in the room. You didn't have to have a 4.0 GPA. You didn't have to be valedictorian. You didn't have to go to the University of Harvard. You just don't. You have to have God first, but then you have to have the grit. You have to have the grit and the discipline to endure through everything that trading is going to bring you. And like I say all the time, I can't tell you when you're going to become profitable. It might be 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. Shoot, I've met someone, it took them about 7, I think, years, 7-ish years to reach their like 7-figure mark, but they did it in a year, like literally hit 7 figures in a year from trading, and just now they're killing it. And that's just, a testimony to even that individual for enduring for that long, because 7 years is a long time to be really suffering for, but that just goes to show that everyone's journey is different. So as always, I hope that you take something away from this video in a positive light. To all my nurses out there, who are contemplating getting into trading, take it wholeheartedly and be brave and bold in when you're doing this. To any of the women out there who contemplate getting into trading for whatever reason that it might be, I hope that Tiana has spoken to you and given you the words of encouragement enough to pursue this. And as always, guys, may God bless all of you. I thank you for watching if you stay to the end, and until next time, Jaden Hyken, I'm out.